This is a good question. How does the sentence, "men don't cry," make you feel? How does it make me feel? It makes me feel sad and angry all at the same time. Let's talk about men's mental health for a minute, okay? In Canada alone, the suicide statistics are about 4,000 people per year. 75% of those are men. Men are more likely to die of alcohol-related and drug-related incidents. Okay? Why? Because for years and years, sentences like this were ingrained into boys and men. That emotions are not valid and should not be talked about. But they are valid and they should be talked about. Because all of those emotions, they fester inside of us, and we try to get rid of them or numb them from with one thing or another, right? Whether that's drinking, whether that's drugs, whether that's sex or suicide. And it's interesting because women, I'm going to call us out on this one a little bit, okay? Because women say that men should talk about their emotions and that they should be in touch with their emotions, and that we want a man who knows his, what he's feeling and is able to communicate about it and all of those things. And yet a lot of times when that actually happens and men do try to communicate about their emotions and their feelings or what they're thinking or what they're feeling, women tell them to grow up or suck it up. In one way or another, maybe not those exact words, or it's not manly, or it makes the women feel like they are wearing the pants in the relationship, or have to carry more of the masculine energy because a man who's tapped into his emotions apparently isn't masculine. So there's so many things that are going on in my brain when I read this question about how do I feel about that sentence. Because at the end of the day, tears are actually really healthy. And it's interesting, I actually just did a podcast episode on this about the fact that for myself personally, when I was 11 years old, I stopped crying. Something happened in my life and crying didn't change anything. It didn't bring the person back. It didn't alter my reality in any way. So I thought, fuck it, what is the point? And I stopped crying. I stopped talking about my hard emotions, and I was just, everything's fine, I'm good, I'm happy, I'm okay, I'm always gonna be fine. And years go by and years go by, and all of a sudden I started to deal with chronic pain. You're gonna hear some clicking as my dog is walking. Okay, I started to deal with chronic pain, fibromyalgia, chronic migraines, ulcerative colitis, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, all of these things, because all of those emotions were trapped inside of my body. And am I saying that people with those conditions don't have science behind it and it's just all in your head? Absolutely not. But what I am saying is that there is also science behind the fact that if we don't heal ourselves emotionally or express ourselves, acknowledge and embrace our emotions, that it does manifest in our bodies and we deal with pain. It comes out in cancers, in all of these chronic migraines and all of these things. Because in the last 3 years, I have now since taught myself and allowed myself to feel those feelings. When I'm sad, I sit with the sadness. When I'm afraid, I sit with the fear. When I am angry, I allow myself to be angry. Whatever all those emotions are, I acknowledge them and I sit with them and I work down to the root of it and I heal deep from my past. And while that has been going on, I physically have been healing as well. Right? And so that is just me as a woman in this one lifetime. And now we have generations and generations of men who have been told that their feelings are not valid and men don't cry. And no wonder we have men with health issues. No wonder men are dying before women and are, you know, hitting the bottle or hitting the pills more than women, like all of these things, right? And so there needs to be a point in society where we just eliminate this shit. Get rid of it. It's doing no one good. No one good. And women, we need to be able to allow and hold space and grace for our men partners to have those emotions and learn how to deal with them, because they've never been taught to. Those are tools they don't have. And they haven't been taught to be able to talk to their own like gender about it. Men talking to men and supporting men, and that brotherhood, those bonds of like men supporting men are huge. But it's rare, and it's something that we need to foster, and we need to celebrate with them, and we need to allow and make space for, and not feel like, not kind of do things or say things that make them feel like they're emasculated for feeling emotions, right? Does that make sense? So that was a rant, but that's how I feel about that.